Chen, Lonsdale, Livingston, East, and Settle, Clearwater. Right,
Yeah.
Jimmy Chen.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. If we review the public consultation between the previous time and this time, previous time and particularly mention the locations in frontage of the Westfield Mall, and this time the locations in 123 to 125 Rickton Road. Last time we can see only probably minor, very few of them against, and majority, especially all those affected the community, business, property owner, even individual resident, all support the location, based locations in frontage of the Westfield Mall. But this time, because my figure still slightly different from the staff, even the council figure still opposed 29%. This kind of big amount. It means the majority of people still prefer the best location is in frontage of Westfield Mall. And also, if we report yesterday, 5 people, 4 organizations on behalf of wider community. The one is Jeff Mister. He is the chairperson of the Rickton Bush Kilmarnock Resident Association. Actually, is on behalf of northern part of the central Rickton. Probably, I assume, guess at least 500 the property in that area. Second one is the lady, the Justin Mott. She on behalf of Middleton Multiple Resident Association in central Rickton area. Probably another 500 or 600 property in surrounding area. And third one is Dave Curry, who is currently the committee member of Central Rickton Resident Association. That's a southern part, probably another 800 to 900, because that area is high density population area. So we can see it's not a few individual residents against this location. Actually, it's a wide range of the community against this kind of location. It means that this signal, this not the good the location. Another one is we might consider because I still like Dave, the committee member of Central Rickton Resident Association, yesterday he emphasized, that's very good, he emphasized if we review the Local Government Act, Section 78, all those before make the decision need to have proper consultation whether comply with the community preferences. But if we review this figure, actually is not compliant with the community preferences. And also regarding to the section 77, whether consider the social community well-being, this also is not compliant with the community social well-being. So I don't think so. That's a proper decision. So that's why I have an amendment. And also, if you review the contents of the Rickton, the Wigan Community Board, the recommendation, actually is combine all those council staff recommendation, but just give the one more time opportunity, try to recommence to renegotiate with the kind of the Westfield Mall. But based on the staff answer, they already have a written document. But why not go with the community board recommendation? Because you already done this one. So you can, display to the community board, to the community, we already done, but it's twice still fail. So now we go to the original, then the staff recommendation. So that's why I would like to, to amendment to go to the Wigan Community Board recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lonsdale.
Well, personally, I believe the Westfield location is the better location. And personally, I actually believe that this may be better handled through the district plan review, where a key activity centre, once it reaches a certain floor plate size, they have to give back some of their land for community and community infrastructure, which would encompass the exchange. I was part of some of those negotiations with Westfield, and I'm very disappointed they are trying to hook us into something that we cannot actually do, something that actually goes against our, the regulations that we're bound by under the Local Government Act. And so the only other option we have is this option. It's the only one we have in front of us, and I'm disappointed it's the only option, but it is the best of our options that we have. So I will be supporting this today, but it is with disappointment that I do support it. But as I say, we've been put in a difficult position. We could look at other ways of handling this through the district plan review, but that's maybe for another conversation.
Glenn.
Thank you. I just guess one perspective from not being a member of the E&I committee is that for me this clearly is captured by the report that came to us on the 13th of November in 1.3.1 that this is of metropolitan significance. So I recognise potentially Jimmy's in a difficult place, but actually this is about being a city council. We have to think for the city. So I encourage us all today to reach beyond the parochialism there. It's the second biggest usage we know for bus passengers in the city. Riccarton with over 3,000 to up to 3,000 a day. I think let's just make this call, work with ECAN and get on with it.
David East.
Thank you. Look, I've supported Jimmy in his amendment today, and I believe really that we have seen a situation where the residents associations, the business people, the community board have all signalled a preference for Westfield. Like Paul, I think ultimately we may end up, we probably will end up going for the solution before us today. But however, I really want to signal that we've had a massive earthquake in this city, and the opportunities that avail ourselves to make advancements for the future are endless. I don't actually believe that we've taken the best opportunity that we could do here, and we really needed to be thinking 30 years or more out. I would be happy to look at what we're doing ultimately at 123, 125 as being a short to medium term solution. I don't think it's in an area of Riccarton Road that is already congested. We're not getting the buses off the side of the road. We're using the existing road footprint at the moment, and things will only get worse. Long term, we've got to be thinking about getting our buses off the road in Riccarton, an exchange where inwards buses and outward buses go either side of a waiting lounge, and just where we ultimately fit that, I can't offer a solution at the moment. But I honestly believe that if we pass the resolution as I think it will go ultimately, we need to be signalling to council that we need a longer term solution for this problem. What we are proposing here is short term, and I don't think it's going to meet the needs of Riccarton Road for more than about 10 years maximum. Paul's raised a very good point where we should be addressing this issue perhaps through the district plan, and I think we actually need to be sending a signal to staff that this is ultimately possibly going to be the best of a bad bunch of options, but we need to be looking out further for a 30-year plus solution to this problem. What we ultimately will approve today, I think, is only going to be a short-term thing. It's not ideal, and let's get our thinking caps on and look at something further down the track, which is going to be something unique for this area. It is the major corridor of public transport into our city, and it's only going to grow bigger. And what we propose here, as I've said, I'm probably repeating myself here a bit, it's only short term.
Phil Clearwater.
Thank you. Look, this isn't easy. We're basically we're trying to fit a modern bus transfer station into a very busy infrastructure which has been existing for over 100 years. And in terms of getting the best option, look, this isn't a perfect world in terms of what we're going to obtain, but it's clear to me that this is by far the best interim option that we've ever had. And it won't be long term, but it needs to serve the bus users right now. We can't afford to wait to have our bus users waiting in the rain another winter. That just isn't on. There's no question that the whole purpose of the bus lounge is to get people on buses, to attract them to it in a comfortable surroundings, but also so that in fact buses will be able to relieve the congestion which nobody wants. And Generation Zero made that really clear to us when they made their deputation, where they told us that in fact the way for young people now is to use buses. A lot of them don't want to or can't afford to run cars. There's no doubt in my mind that in fact Westfield was never really an optimum or ideal site in terms of safety, and in fact this council have known that for a long time. It's a bit of an irony in a way that the owners and operators of Westfield, in terms of the submission, they submitted that the bus stop be at 123 to 125 Riccarton Road. What is there about that some people don't understand? There's no question at all, that, in my mind, that Westfield don't really want to have a bus stop at Westfield, and that's just how it is. We've explored as a council many options since the beginning of time when I was elected. Now is the time. We cannot afford to wait any longer.
Thank you. Yanni?
Thanks. Yeah, I think this is becoming a really difficult issue, and essentially we should have let the Crown get on and do this right after the earthquake. They agreed that they would do it, we agreed that they would do it, and we're the ones that have spent a year trying to grapple with it. And you know, it's amazing that we can put professional sports into Hagley Park in probably a quicker and easier process than we can putting a suburban bus interchange in, which should be a pretty straightforward, simple thing to do. I'm really concerned that this is based on a model of public transport that doesn't, in my view, seem to make a lot of sense, which encourages people to take more buses and less frequent on some suburbs and then more frequent along main corridors. In fact, the irony is the thing that we're doing in the central city is trying to stop the amount of buses going into the central city because of the old Colombo Street, where all the buses lined up, and it actually created a pretty unpleasant atmosphere. And all we're doing is just putting the same problems we had in Colombo Street up Riccarton Road. So it doesn't seem to make much sense to me. So I think we do need to start thinking about how we get the long-term solution. And I have to say, it is through our district plan, it is through the RMA, it is through the powers that we have as a council to get good quality infrastructure in the right places. And for far too long, I believe we've been too hands-off as a city in allowing huge developments to take over our suburbs, take over residential areas, take over local roads and develop. And you get these huge places that get built that don't actually contribute to the community wellbeing because there's no public amenity or infrastructure that's needed. So going forward, I just really urge you to consider using the district plan, like the government have done with the recovery strategy, using designations, using ways in which we have as a council the ability to provide for well-needed infrastructure to support the things that we need to do. Ending up in a year-long negotiation is, without any leverage, is never going to work for us. We have to be a lot more hands-on. So removing rules in our district plan is not the way to go. Removing the need for integrative traffic assessments is not the way to go. Putting in firm requirements where we've got big buildings or developments happening, that these have to be integrated, is definitely the way forward. So, you know, I can't support this today. I do think we need to take a much more strategic approach. I appreciate there's a short-term solution that you're trying to find, and it's all based around changes to the bus network that someone else has made, which doesn't make it any easier. But fundamentally, what we heard was that it's only 1 in 5 people that are actually waiting for a bus, 20%. And when you look at places like Westfield or Riccarton Road, there's plenty of places where people can wait. They have a pretty good level of amenity. people who've got a good level of amenity will have in the central city. They'll have a super stop at the hospital and another one in town. And then there's other areas of the city like New Brighton. What amenity do they have in New Brighton for public transport? That's where I'd rather be putting this capital investment, into those areas that actually have very poor amenity for public transport. So I don't believe that this is a prudent use of our money. I do believe that we should look for a long-term strategic solution rather than just keep spending money on temporary, short-term solutions that don't make strategic sense.
Thank you. I'd like to say a couple of words on this as well. And to start by agreeing with the view that this is not an ideal solution, in the sense that the position that we find ourselves in is not an ideal environment for decision making, and that, in my view, has a lot to do with the split between the different decision makers that we have in our public transport system. The Christchurch City Council does not determine the routes. It does not determine the particular approach that's being adopted. The Environment Canterbury adopted the hub and spokes model, I think back in 2012, after considerable period of consultation, but a consultation that I, as a local Member of Parliament, did not have any line of sight on and did not involve myself in. So, and as a bus user, I don't use the model of changing buses. I'd rather stay on a bus longer than get off a bus, cross a road and jump on another bus. That's just my personal point of view, and I know that there are a lot of bus users who feel exactly the same way. But we have what we have. What I like about this proposal, unlike the previous Riccarton Road proposal, was that this has the potential to join up with the mall. And it makes absolute sense to me that we get direct entry into a bus interchange and a hub on Riccarton Road that actually people can walk into from the mall. That to me would be the best of all worlds, and actually is a preferred option to having it separate in the car park. So, and the thing that's really sold me on this site is the traffic lights for crossing the road, because you can talk about the traffic lights being just a few metres down the road, but I know people will rather take their chances across the road than to walk a few metres down the road, cross the road and walk back to where they want to go. So I'm sold on the idea that this has far greater potential than actually the decision that we're making today. And I think that there is a lot of work to be done in terms of getting a very streamlined, well understood public transport system that works for Christchurch, and I certainly want to be playing an important role in ensuring that does happen. I don't know that the model that we've had has actually enabled that to happen in the best possible way. So under the circumstances, I'm going to not support the amendment, and I'm going to support the original motion. So on that basis, I'm going to now put the amendment. So those in favour of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say no. No. That is lost. Would you like to record your opposition? Yeah. And so that is Jimmy Chen, Yanni Johansson and David East. Thank you. And now I move to the motion. And the motion is as it's shown on the screen. Move Councillor Clearwater, seconded Councillor Scandrett. I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. No. Just Councillor Jimmy Chen opposed the motion. Record that. The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Now, we will adjourn for afternoon tea. If we could be back here at, say, 10 to 4. Is that enough time? 9 minutes? 10 to 4. Thank you.